Here we are, May, in 2024, and one of the complaints that I hear from women all the time is, where are all the real men?
Oh, Marcus, that's a huge, huge subject. And women of our era have got some very personal, private point of views about that, because we've seen real men. Our real men were our fathers and our grandfathers, and they were gentlemen. I remember my grandfather coming to dinner in a tie and a shirt and a jacket, a vest and a fob watch. Dad never sat down at the dinner table looking, like he'd just come from work. He cleaned up always. But there was a certain tension there, and we never knew what it was because he was angry all the time. We didn't understand that. And he was an incredibly intelligent man. And he was like ambidextrous. He was artistic and mathematically analytical, but he was also artistic. He was one of those rare breeds that could do everything. But we could never get close to him. And even my grandfather spoke very little words. And that became a great interest to me over the years as a therapist, as to why so many women were saying, where are all the men gone? Well, the men, if you think about it, way back in history, were gathered up, the creme de la creme of men, trained to be killers, sent to war. Half of them didn't come back, and those that did come back were destroyed for the rest of their life emotionally about what life actually means. But there was another group left behind, the ones that were needed here, the farmers, the whatever, I can't remember the actual trades at the time, but they had to stay. But they bore the stigma of not going to war for country, king and country at the time. They suffered emotionally with guilt and shame. So while those men were being killed off at war, the others had to stay at home and work. But the women had to become men. They made the bombs, they made the rations, they made the clothes. They had to be the farmers, or might have been married to an academic, but he had to go to war. He had to change his whole personality to become a soldier. But the ones left behind were the women, and these men that after the war were considered not as patriotic or nationalistic as the guys that went to war. And my father was one of them. He didn't actually fight in the wars. My grandfathers did, my uncles did, but my father was left behind because he was a trained marksman. He was probably a trained assassin, for all I know. But a lot of those stigmas come from that because men started to lose their place as masculine way back then. And we've got more to discuss on this because it's a big subject, but it's a beginning of where we're going to go with this discussion in the future.